Hello and welcome at the Next Gen Sunday blog. Today, while all my colleagues in Shenzhen, China and in Canada are about to finalize the beta tests and preparing the mass production, I thought I'd produce a little teaser to see what can be done with the new and upcoming next-gen MIDI I/O adapter. You see the setup here. There's the Foca Max adapter, which is for power supply for the next-gen HME, and for firmware upload it provides a USB to TTL UART serial port. Then the signal goes through the next-gen MIDI I/O adapter. That's still prototype, but the final release will look almost the same. And finally, the cable links to the next gen, so everything is daisy-chained. Afterwards, when the next gen sends MIDI signals, these are routed to the MIDI output port via a 5-pin DIN plug. And today we use a simple DIN MIDI to USB adapter to send everything over to a software synthesizer. As you can see, the project here on the 10-inch capacitive touchscreen is MIDI touch keyboard, polyphonic because it has multi-touch. And what I did for the design is to split the keyboard in two. Even though it's a very big screen with 10-inch, it has been difficult to place so many keys on it because they remain relatively small for my thick, clumsy fingers though, but we'll see what can be done. So I put a split keyboard on it 2 times, 2 octaves, 50 keys overall. And for each keyboard section, the upper one and the lower one, I can set the bass note so I can use it in different octaves, starting from C2, C3, C4, C5 for the upper row, or C1, C2, C3, C4 for the lower row. And the advantage is that I can have the keyboards aligned so that I have continuous pitch, first on the lower keyboard, then on the higher one, or I can have them superposed partly by 1 octave, so that even with closer chords I can use both hands on different keyboard sections, which eases the playing on the touch screen. Now let's see how it behaves. As you can see, I've put, as on every screen project which I do for NextGen with MIDI, I have set a baud rate switch because, as you know, or as you perhaps know, MIDI works with a rather uncommon baud rate of 31,250 bauds, which isn't a problem for the next-gen, but which is a problem for uploading firmware through TTL to USB serial adapters, including the Foca Max adapter, who can't deal with this special baud rate setting. So I have always a fallback function in my projects so that I can set it back to the default baud rate, which allows then to upload new firmware release. Now let's switch to MIDI. Yes, and now you see it shows 31,250, and by default it's the grand piano which is selected as the instrument. The octaves are set starting with C2 for the lower keyboard and with C4 for the upper keyboard. So basically the lowest note of the upper keyboard and the highest note of the lower keyboard should be the same. In fact. So that means that basically we could try to play something. Oh, my chair is making ugly noises. Sorry for that. Now, after the grand piano, we can also try to play some church organ. And let's try to play something from Johann Sebastian Bach. And finally, let's try the harpsichord. So you see, thanks to multi-touch and thanks to the next-gen MIDI I/O adapter, you can transform whatever next-gen screen with the fitting HMI project into a full-fledged MIDI controller. Thank you for watching.